welcome. Uh, all zero of you who are watching, but this will go up on YouTube.
Yep.
So, I'm Eric. This is Ernie.
Yep.
And today we're going to be looking back at, I guess this would be Flashback Friday.
Yep.
It's still Friday. Or a
Technically.
Throwback Thursday video that we posted. Simply called Condoms or Condones. Actually reminds me of the word condones always reminds me of when I was in high school. I took well, I didn't take it wasn't a Spanish class. It was I don't remember what class it was, but we had this girl who didn't speak English, and the teacher wrote the word condone, like to condone something. And the girl just started laughing and laughing,
Busting up.
and she was sitting next to me, and believe it or not, I was the closest to a Spanish speaker in the class that day, so I was supposed to help her understand the class. Yeah, and hey, Kimberly, we're already live.
Okay.
So,
There's a book. It's called Everybody.
anyways, so, yeah, so I had to translate, and I had no idea why she was laughing,
Right.
and so she tried to explain it to me, and then she tried to explain what it was, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then it finally clicked what it was, but yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's when I had learned the Spanish word for condom
Yep.
in high school. But so this was our skit. The premise again. This was a purity episode. This skit is what got us our program cut, booted from the air.
Yeah.
There was somebody who I guess who watched it and beforehand, and then told the president of the network that we said the word condom, and they got really upset, and so so there was a whole thing. But this is the episode. I mean, I was really proud of it.
Yep.
It took us about a month to do it, and so I think it's muted right here. To unmute. And all right, so real quick before we even start, on this blackboard we have a whole bunch of references.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm sure it's gonna pan later. I know we get different shots.
In this, oh boy,
Let's see. So right up here at the top right corner, Senor Hicks.
Yeah. So at the time,
very, very into the Askew universe, view Askew
yeah,
universe.
but this is kind of meta. It was a reference. There's a director, Kevin Smith, who filled his projects up with pop culture references, and so this was full of references to his work. So in this screen we have Kirby, like for Jack Kirby, Lee for Stan Lee. I actually have my phone number, which I still have, is there on the board. And then what do we got? The
THX 1138 is right here.
right there. And then the students, there's like an attendance thing right here. We got some character names that were from the Askew universe. Brody, Banky, S. Bob, Jay. There were somewhere there, I think it says eggs equal good.
Eggs equal good is somewhere here on the side.
Yeah. So it was just, I can't remember everything that was in
There's
that.
so many things.
So many things, and it wasn't really a blackboard. That was actually in the church bookstore. I don't even know if it was a church bookstore at the time. What were we using the room for at the time? Whatever it was, we emptied it out.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
we took everything out.
We took everything out. We had little classroom decorations that we bought from like a teacher supply store. That's our flag, and there was like this paper that you could turn into a blackboard. It was like a wallpaper thing. So we made a blackboard
That's what it was.
of it. And the opening line, the teacher, I guess, is teaching physics, and at the end he says, and that's why the car had to reach 88 miles an hour. That was a reference to Back to the Future. I actually had intended to bring a little model DeLorean that I have, and I forgot that morning, so I was going to have the DeLorean sitting on his desk, so it would be more obvious what it was talking about, but I forgot that morning. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started here.
Tiene que alcanzar 88 millas por hora. ¿Hay preguntas?
Can we see anything in this shot?
Globe, multiple apples on his desk.
Yeah.
There on the bottom left of the chalkboard thing are actually the PlayStation button layout. You got the triangle on the top,
Oh,
the
yeah,
square, and the bottom's an X, and I think there's circles in the middle. So did like some PlayStation stuff right there.
Let's go a little bit further in.
Sí, Caitlin.
Mi novio y yo hemos estado juntos por 6 meses y él me dice que le debería dar una muestra de mi amor.
No.
Y yo no sé qué hacer.
Casos como este.
All right.
We got Skater, SK8R. Don't remember why that's a Skater.
Neither do I.
Eggs equal good. It's right there. And then a bunch of other numbers that had to. I don't remember what the date of September 20th, 1973 is. Apparently it's something. I don't remember now. But we filled that thing up with a bunch of in-jokes.
Which we've promptly forgotten.
We've forgotten now.
Te pueden ser difíciles, pero te sugiero y mi consejo es que compres un condón.
Do you remember what the inspiration was from this?
Just condoms are not the answer. That was something that they started doing in the 90s. Actually, probably in the 80s. But I know in colleges in the 90s they were giving out condoms
Right. Yeah.
to try to reduce the number of unplanned pregnancies, teen pregnancies, college student pregnancies. They tried to curb the spread of STDs.
Mhm.
But really what ended up happening was that you give a bunch of 18-year-old hormonal teenagers a condom and say this is safe sex. They're going to do it, and then they're not always going to have the condom. So if anything, it actually spurred more STDs to spread. Just like those non-N95 masks don't protect you from coronavirus, condoms don't protect you from AIDS. So, but people were like, oh, I have a condom, it's safe sex. But, of course, it was not the answer. So that was a running gag. Condoms are not the answer. So all these questions, and the teacher always gives the same.
Yeah, just an exercise in absurdity.
Yeah, it's absurd. So.
Sí, Verónica.
El cumpleaños de mi novio se está acercando. ¿Qué sería bueno regalarle?
Déjame sugerir un condón.
Señor Higgs, ¿esto estará en el examen?
Randall, si estás tan preocupado, déjame sugerirte, compra un condón. Sí, Renee.
Brody.
All right. So all the character names
View Askew universe.
are from the View Askew universe. We still have that TV stand in the rec room right now.
Yes.
But this was 2 setups.
Yeah.
So you're going to see 2 brown doors. There's one that's like in the front of the classroom, one in the back of the classroom. They're the same door. On that day, we set up the front of the classroom with the fake. Actually, the night before, the fake chalkboard, the teacher's desk, and that whole side, the book, file cabinet, or there's like a metal cabinet. So that was the first setup, and then so we set up the first couple of rows of students that we saw them asking the questions, and then we took all that out, and then we set up sideways the rest of the classroom, and then we intercut it and everything together. So, but there are 2 different sets, same room, just 2 different setups.
Yep.
So, and I had to draw out where each student was sitting, and then where I would put the camera. So, plot it out and everything. So, yeah.
One room, quite a bit of planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
El compañero que me asignó no está haciendo su parte. Él dice que yo...
And this right here is also a reference to Kevin Smith. This was his Daredevil run, written by Kevin Smith. One of the better. I mean, there's a lot of good Daredevil runs. There's the Miller one was really good.
Yeah.
But this was like a reboot. The Guardian Devil was a reboot for Daredevil, and
Written by Kevin Smith.
written by Kevin Smith. It was art. The art was by Joe Quesada, who actually ended up becoming later on the editor in chief of Marvel. Well, actually, he was probably already. Yeah, I think this is before he became editor in chief of Marvel. So this was a really good run. But it was written by Kevin Smith, and all the characters in this skit are Kevin Smith character names from his different movies.
Yep.
So it was. It wasn't just that it was full of pop culture references, but it was that I guess felt like the low budget, the way he did the thing that were just like, it was like
Clerks and
it felt like kindred spirit. We're like, this is the way we're doing it too, low budget. We did this entire program. The first one we did with Moko and everything, I think our budget was like $100.
Yeah.
And so we did everything on the cheap. This one was a bigger budget, but I think we still were like under 500. I think we spent $300 total for everything. I think the most expensive thing was the time that I spent, because I think I worked on this maybe 4 out of 7 days of the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, my time was probably the biggest expense for me because I wasn't working outside of this. But
Yep.
No puede ir a su casa y él no quiere ir a la mía. ¿Le puede decir algo?
¿Cuál es el problema? ¿Qué puedo decir? No le cae bien a mi mamá.
Yo ni siquiera he conocido a tu mamá.
So this entire dialogue, we essentially just put it
Lifted.
into Google Translate back in the days, and just
yeah, and well, not Google Translate. I don't know who.
no, we didn't Google Translate,
I
but
think Dina translated it.
we had one of the
Office people.
office people translating. It's
But
just,
this little bit of dialogue is actually ripped off of a Kevin Smith thing. We were like, what questions could we do? And we're like, oh, let's have these two characters. And it's the same, their namesake, the characters that they're named after. I had a similar conversation about their mom not liking him. Like, I've never even met your mom. Trust me, she wouldn't like you.
Yeah.
So
we just decided in Spanish. Decided to
Yeah.
do it in Spanish because we just enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
Créeme, no le caerías bien. Brody, yo no creo que ese sea
There's the door.
Yeah.
And
su problema. Yo creo que ustedes necesitan comprar un condón. Sí, Trish.
Yo no entiendo esta fórmula. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Trish, todo lo que tienes que hacer es comprar un condón.
there's the door again. Same door. Like I said, different setup. In here, Ernie was supposed to be our Jay. He was supposed to be jamming out. He puts his headphones on later. And Bernie, with his beard. This was supposed to be a high school class. You might be thinking, like, what does a high schooler have a full-on beard? Well, Bernie had a full-on beard in high school. This was him in high school. He had a full-on beard. I remember he had a full-on mustache, like when he was in junior high. So, he had a full-on man beard, and we just had him put on, like, closest thing we get to a trench coat, and had a backwards snap back. And then he doesn't actually get to even ask us questions. So
he's our silent Bob.
He's our silent Bob. And I think Ernie might be wearing, was that a Pigeon John shirt?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
Oh, Pigeon John shirt. I think that was the red Nintendo track jacket
And those headphones, I believe, are those headphones right there.
that we're still using.
I still use my Sony headphones. They're very good headphones.
Solo compra un condón.
Okay.
Estoy muy preocupada con esa guerra contra el terrorismo.
Mira, Brandy, he estado escuchando bastante acerca de esto, pero te voy a sugerir lo que he estado diciendo a otros. Compra un condón.
¿Cómo puedo hacer mi parte para ayudar con la economía?
Mira, Banky, si quieres ayudar con la economía,
Oh,
compra.
on the desk, I forgot about that, is the Taco Bell Chihuahua plushie
Oh yeah.
from when Yo Quiero Taco Bell. Yeah, there's a Chihuahua. I don't remember why I put it there. I just like, I think because we were eating so much Taco Bell, and I think we got a plushie from spending enough money there or
Definitely ate a
something.
lot of Taco Bell at
Yeah,
that time.
late
Compra un
nights.
condón. Calmados, calmados. Yo tengo condones para todos.
And there's a bunch right there. Condoms are not the answer. But I guess the person who previewed this didn't understand
We were
sarcasm.
not actually telling.
Yeah, I guess they didn't understand sarcasm, so they thought we were promoting the use of condoms or something. And then we explained it to them, and they're like, "Oh no, it's because the word condom." And they were telling us was offensive, and people were gonna be upset that we even said condom. We're just like,
We're like, this
And-
is what kids are already hearing in high school.
Actually, it was an elementary. I remember
Elementary.
I actually,
Yeah.
the network president, I complained to him and told him that it was not cool that we did this work for them, that they didn't trust us, and then they were just like they were like kind of like ostriches with their heads in the sand, in that they didn't want to be aware of what was going on. So I actually went to try to meet with him, and I took a bunch of research about LA Unified and how LA Unified and other public schools were already teaching elementary school kids how to use a condom.
Mm-hmm.
They were already teaching the kids how to apply condoms,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like 7-year-olds that were learning to do this, and he didn't want to hear us for nothing. And I remember him walking away, and I remember getting really mad at him, and just like, so that was not a pleasant experience trying to reason with them. And then they were just like, so they eventually aired it. Like I said, they aired it that night because a whole bunch of calls came in, because
We got cut
parts.
off after this aired.
Yeah, we did 2 parts. No, actually before this aired.
Oh, before this
So
aired.
this was in the second half. We actually did it in 2 parts. There was a first part and a second part, and I think because they wanted us to do a commercial break so they could do studio identification, all this other stuff in between. So after the first one, at the end, we're just like, we'll be right back after these, whatever. And then it never came back, and
Right.
they ended up putting some concert footage, and we got a whole bunch of phone calls. I remember we had like a giveaway of CDs, and they were like, the calls came in like within the first like 10 minutes. All the CDs we were giving away were gone throughout the for a long time. They actually ended up once they got over themselves, they reran these programs for like the longest time. I remember we were still getting phone calls, people reaching out to us trying to get a hold of the CDs and everything. We're like, yeah, this is a rerun. But I remember they reached out and they were like, make more programs, and I was like, not until you apologize for the way you treated us. And they never wanted to apologize for the way that they mishandled this. The person who had watched it did not tell us that they were gonna not air the second half. So
Mhm.
we were there until like midnight waiting for it. But like I said, they didn't air the second half till like close to midnight. I think it was like 11:30 at night. And we still got calls. People were just like, I've been waiting for this for hours to come back. So I think original airtime was like at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So from 8:30 until like 11:30, people were just like, where's it? So. And I was on the phone with the president the whole time, calling and being like, when are you going to put it on? When are you going to put it on? So, but this is that skit. And after this, we've only got like one more skit.
Mm-hmm.
But this has probably got the most references, and we're missing a good number of them.
Yeah, there's a lot that we just don't remember. All the math stuff was all references to things. I think there were birthdays included in the
Yeah.
and all that.
So that is that skit. Next week we'll be putting up the last one from here, which is the Sofa Zone, and then
Sofa Zone.
might for fun just put up my Derriere one. So